We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike and she's Sophie.
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
And he's Grogu. How you doing, buddy? You rock. And we are on the road with Mickey. This is episode 156 for January 30th, 2023. Just like that, girls, January is done. I cannot
Wow.
believe how fast this time goes.
That is the truth.
Um, this week, our feature topic is navigating the parks. This is part 3 of 4. Where today we are looking at Hollywood studios. So I think it'll be a good episode. I think we're kind of, each week is kind of building from last week and getting a little bit better, I feel. I think mainly it's because the first week I wasn't feeling well. Second week I was feeling better. This week I'm feeling even better. And
Yay.
so it just is what it is.
We're
But
very glad you're feeling better, Mike.
I am
Yep.
too. Thank you guys. Um, but before we get to that, of course, we have some cheddar from the big cheese. So Brenda, you start us off.
Before I get to the cheddar, I have to say happy birthday to my number 2 granddaughter, McKinley, who turned 9 on Saturday.
McKinley, happy
McKinley.
birthday. She
Come on,
isn't
We're
you
going to
girl.
sing.
granddaughter. She's also one of our, what do we call
bread pudding connoisseurs.
honorary on the road with Mickey hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Aaliyah. But
Yeah.
And so we're going to sing her happy birthday, or at least I am.
you are.
Yay.
Okay, all right. Ooh. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear McKinley. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha.
Yay.
We love you, McKinley.
Yep.
Only one
right.
of us sings because it sounds so much better when Sophie sings than when we sing.
Angelic. Yes.
Aw, thank you guys.
Yes.
Happy birthday, McKinley.
Yay. So more cheddar from the big cheese will include
Yes.
that the dates for the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival have been released. The festival will run from March 1st through July 5th, 2023.
Ooh.
A beautiful time to visit.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Well, some more cheddar from the big cheese, and this one is kind of bittersweet. As we all know, Splash Mountain's last day of operation was January 22nd and is now closed for the makeover into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. However, again, there's the bittersweet part. I'm looking forward to the transformation, and with one ride closing, other attractions are opening. Ariel's Grotto reopened on the same day, and Enchanted Tales with Belle will reopen on February 19th. This is in addition to Pete's Silly Sideshow reopening recently as well. And for those of you who don't know what that last one is, that's part of the Storybook Circus in Fantasyland, and I've never been to it either, so it's okay.
But it's a character meet and greets.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the Pete Silly Sideshow. So you got your Mickey, Minnie, Donald, um, Pluto, I think, Goofy. So that's who you can see. That's where you would see them. So
Yeah.
all these meet and greets coming back is really cool.
Yeah, that's really
Mhm.
great.
And speaking of other things being completed or getting close to being completed, each day, people, we get a day closer to things being completed at Epcot. And we don't have an exact date yet for Moana Journey of Water, but we do know that the walkthrough attraction will be opening in the fall of 2023. So the fall of this year. So to me, that's huge because in my mind's eye, anyway, I'm seeing that that would mean a lot of the construction walls would come down.
Yes, thank God.
And that would open up so much space, so much real estate for movement. That's the way I feel it's going to be, and maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the way I feel it'll be. So
It's
so I
also
am.
going to be beautiful to
Oh
look at.
yeah, and if you go on Instagram, go look up Disney Parks blog or Disney Imagineering or any of those sorts of accounts, you'll see a lot of the construction stuff with Tafiti and
Yeah,
how incredible that looks.
beautiful,
Mhm.
I mean, just incredible. Um,
beautiful.
One thing that I thought was kind of cool, and I forgot to mention it in the Cheddar for the Flower and Garden, is there are going to be some really nice Encanto inspired topiaries
Oh,
at the Flower and
nice.
Ooh.
Garden, and I think that will be really neat. And one more bit of Cheddar.
Mm,
This is something Disney Plus, and girls, Cindy and Sophie and I have all watched it. But if you haven't seen it, go look on Disney Plus for when they did Encanto from the Hollywood Bowl. And it was a concert with the characters, the actors who played the characters were there to sing the songs from the movie. And it was the
Nice.
first time they had been in the same place together because Encanto was done during pandemic.
mhm.
Mm,
So it's really spectacular. It is so good. It just blew my mind how good it was.
thank
So,
you.
so if you're looking for something to watch, it's only like an hour. It is well worth the time. So,
Thank you, Mike.
it just blew me away how good it was. So, check it out, people, if you haven't seen it on Disney Plus. But anyway, that is our slightly extended cheddar from the big cheese. And now it is time to move on to our feature topic. We are navigating the park of Hollywood Studios. And Brenda, do you want to start us off?
Uh,
I thought she wanted me to go
I do.
first.
I want Sophie to go first this time.
Okay, well then, Sophie, you go first.
All right then. Well, Hollywood Studios is a very special case to me because think of it is not only does the park get really, really hot, but it's also one of the parks that we usually only save one day for. And that's okay because there are so many other things to be done elsewhere, but Hollywood Studios still has its merits. So, I guess the best place to start at is the entrance because it is the only entrance into the park is the front entrance besides of course if you are staying at the Galactic Star Cruise resort Star Cruise thing. I don't really
Galactic
know.
Star Cruiser. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, there's only one way to get into the parks, and that's through the front entrance. It will take you down the main street where all of the shops are, of course, and it will take you right up to the replica of Grauman's Chinese Theater. And from there on, you have really four different directions you can go. Well, five actually. You can choose to take, oh, and it's sort of arranged like an X almost. You can choose to go right, and then you can either go from going right, you can go right or you can go left. We usually go right and then another, no, we usually go right and then left. That will take you all the way back to Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land. And that's really where the best place to start is because everyone else is going to get in everything else in the rest of the park. And so those places haven't gotten all of the crowds yet. They've gotten plenty of crowds, but just not all of them yet.
Yeah.
And it's also where a lot of the good eateries are. The nice quick service restaurants, which surprisingly there are not a lot of in Hollywood studios. At least it feels that way.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
Mm-hmm. And then from when you get your way to Galaxy's Edge, that takes up the entire back part of the park. And I have never been on the Star Cruiser, so I have no idea how you get from that resort into Galaxy's Edge.
It's a
So,
secret tunnel.
Yeah.
Secret tunnel,
Yep.
secret tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
the vehicle that transports you from the Star Cruiser into Hollywood Studios has no windows, so no
mhm.
one really knows
Yeah.
unless
Because you're coming from space
yes.
Yep.
to Batu.
It is immersive to say the least, and that's the main reason why I want to do it. But
Yeah,
I don't have the money for it, so it's not gonna happen anytime soon. Oh well.
but it's on the list.
Yep.
Mhm. And then, of course, there are actually two entrances into Batu. There's the one that we talked about where you come in from Toy Story Land, and then there's the one that will take you out to the Hollywood area of Hollywood Studios where you'll find the Muppet Theater. You'll find a bunch of the different things that you would see in vintage glamour Hollywood. And it's very, very nice. And then that will also take you to the left side of the park, which is, again, you can go that way if you like. I just like going right. And then on the left side, there is, again, the Muppet Theater, and then there's the Star Tours, which, ever since being the introduction of Galaxy's Edge, Star Tours really has felt rather empty.
Yeah, we haven't ridden Star Tours in a long time.
I
I wish
think
it
I
was a
would
little
like to.
closer. I wish it
I
was like moved.
I
Yeah.
agree. If it were closer to Galaxy's Edge, I think it would be seeing tons of traction. Well,
May I interrupt for a quick second?
yes.
I think the reason Star Tours is where it is because they have the trees and it feels more like Endor from the
Yeah,
movie, from
the Endor system.
the third one.
Yeah.
What was that? Return of the Jedi. Um,
New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
yeah. So it feels like it's there. So if it was closer to
That's true.
Batu, then it wouldn't fit Batu, you know?
That's
So
true.
so I think that's why. I don't know for certain, but that's just my thought on it. So
Yeah. I also think it's really funny that the trees in the Endor system, they just kind of cut off like they've been chopped down, which is a little bit sad, but at the same time, you know the reason why that is. It's because if the trees were all the way up and evergreen, they would reach hundreds of feet high, possibly even miles high, and then it would be a issue for like planes and stuff. And also, you would be able to see them from really anywhere else on the Disney resort. What was I saying? I don't know.
you were talking about Star Tours. I
Hmm.
interrupted,
Mhm.
and you were heading kind of towards
Back
Mickey and
towards
Minnie,
Yeah,
and
back towards the center.
yeah,
Now, as you are going back towards the center again, we've covered the top half of the X in a way. And so we're going back towards the center, and that is the fifth direction you can go in, and that would be towards Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, because it's right where all of those lines in the X converge. And then it's a great ride, it really is. Although
Yay.
you
yeah.
Yeah, and Brenda, she knows very well how awesome of a ride it is. We all know,
Hmm.
thankfully, unlike Galactic Cosmic Rewind, which is okay. I'll get there. It's
We'll
all
get
right.
there. We'll get there.
hmm And again, this is just the way I do it. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, either you have a choice. You can either go to the back and get Toy Story and Galaxy's Edge out of the way, or you can do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And there's a 50-50 split there for which one I would do with my Hollywood Studios day. But assuming that we got both of those things out of the way, it should be right about, I want to say mid-afternoon, maybe lunchtime. And assuming we did not eat at Pizza Rizzo because Aunt Brenda's with us and we don't want to give her an allergy from the tomatoes and the pizza,
Oh,
that's okay.
thank you.
Yeah, assuming that, let's just assume that we instead had a reservation for 50's prime time.
There you go.
Fun.
hmm And that would take you again back to the left, but you would be going into the lower half of the X for this one, and that would be where 50s Primetime is, along with a bunch of other things, though we mainly go there for its food options. We don't usually go there for the Indiana Jones adventure, though Aunt Brenda might. There's
No.
really a lot of Hollywood Studios is over on the right half of it, not so much the left, and that's okay. But we love 50s Primetime. I remember sitting outside waiting for our latest reservation at 50s Primetime, and I just happened to look, and I saw a sign over a cast member door that said Echo Lakes Apartments, and I was like, Daddy, I want to live there. Can
I
you
remember
imagine
that.
it? Can you
That would be
imagine living in
awesome.
Hollywood Studios? That would be great.
That
Well,
would be
anyway,
cool.
back to what I was saying. So, of course, with 50s Primetime, we've eaten, and you know what the waitress tells us? No tower for an hour.
That's right. So we gotta
That's what
wait an
she
hour. So
says.
what do we do in that hour before we do tower? You know what we do?
What?
We go see Sophie's favorite show, the Frozen sing along.
No, 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 no. No, no. In my perfect day, it's still the Beauty and the Beast live action, so we go
Ah,
see that instead.
That's
there you
another
go.
good choice.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no, those are two separate attractions, so yeah, we can do both. But I'm looking forward to Beauty and the Beast more, and that's okay.
But isn't
Yep.
Beauty and the Beast at Epcot?
No, Beauty and the
No,
Beast is right
not the
beside
live action.
Tower.
Oh, the stage show. I'm sorry. Brain spaz.
We both had a brain spaz. I thought they were the same thing, but no, Frozen Ever After replaced the America's Got
Maelstrom.
Talent.
Yeah, the American Idol show. Yeah.
Yeah, which
And
is which
Frozen Ever
is
After is the Epcot ride.
Right.
Frozen Sing Along is the sing along where it
mm-hmm.
snows
At Hollywood Studios.
at Hollywood Studios. Okay.
Beautiful.
So we're walking down
So now
towards
we're
Beauty
going,
and the Beast live on stage.
which is in the final half of the X. So you go back to the center. We've covered the top right, the top left, the bottom left. There's only one place left to go, and that's the bottom right. And literally, if you look at the map, it will make sense. I promise. I'm not explaining it very well, but it will make sense. And so from that point on, we go, and that place is the one of the few places that I know the name of, and that is Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset Boulevard, one of the
Sunset
two.
Boulevard.
Sunset
Sunset Boulevard.
Boulevard, which is an amazing drink that you can get at the Brown Derby, but we didn't eat there this time, and that's okay.
It's
Yes,
always
that's
So,
next
okay.
time.
yep, Sunset Boulevard, that is where you'll find the Tower of Terror, the Rock and Roller Coaster, Beauty and the Beast live action, and then a bunch of different shops, including the fancy dress shop. And I've wanted to buy a dress from that shop for so long. It's okay.
Yeah. You can't
So
buy everything, can
yeah.
we?
Let's say it's been the hour that the waitress told us no tower for an hour. We've seen Frozen. We've seen Beauty and the Beast. You know what my dad and I are doing?
What?
We're splitting up.
Yeah.
Because I love Tower of Terror. He does not. He loves Rock and Roller Coaster. I do not. So they're right next to each other. We both say sayonara. We'll see you later. We get in our lines. And usually by this time of the day, the lines are pretty long, but that's all right because this is our last stop for the day, so we can take as much time as we please.
Yep.
We both get on our respective rides. We have fun. Daddy does not get pictures, and nor do I because Daddy has a camera. And so we meet back up and we just meander our way back along Sunset Boulevard, hitting up all the shops and not buying anything because we're good with our money and financially responsible. We go back to the center and then we meander our way out for the day over to the Skyliner to get back to our hotel.
All right.
Mhm.
Sounds like a plan.
It sounds like a plan exactly.
Yep, there's a system to it. And of course, that system does not involve hitting every single thing, it involves taking your time.
Yeah.
because that's the best way to enjoy Disney.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, some of the things you could fill in your day also include One Man's Dream. Do they still
Mm,
call it One Man's Dream?
Yeah.
Okay.
pretty sure.
The museum section with Walt's stuff, and that's really neat. And you just every time I walk through there, it seems like there's something new from the newer stuff. But it's just neat to think back about how they did the cartoons in the beginning and the types of camera work they did and how they made the three-dimensional look to some of the stuff. It's just really neat.
And if
So
you go all the way to the back of that, there's a movie about Walt, and there's also a meet and greet with Sully.
Hmm.
hmm
Of course, unfortunately, at the time when we were last at Hollywood Studios, the movie was replaced with a preview of the Lightyear movie, which,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
no
which
comment.
hopefully it's back to the way it was. We all know how well Lightyear was received, but we were able to get out with being able to skip the movie, and then we were just able to go on our day.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, so
Great
good
plan.
day, good day,
Sounds like a
Sophie.
great day.
Uh-huh.
Yep. All right. Well, Brenda, you're next.
I'm next. Well, I'm always the odd man out when I'm with you guys because we're always either going to do Genie Plus or ILL or both. And Hollywood Studios is a special park to me, not only for the Tower of Terror, but also because I'm a journal freak. Journals and pens, journals and pens. I'm a freak for that. So most of my journals have been found right there at Hollywood Studios, and I love shopping there. So shopping is a big part of our trip to Hollywood Studios. So that's going to
Okay.
be included. Sorry about that. Can't help it. But I've
That's
found some great
okay.
things there, people. Great things that surprise me. So the first thing we're going to do while we're still in the resort hotel room is we're going to purchase Genie Plus and the ILL. We're going to get Genie Plus. We're going to choose Slinky for Genie Plus one, and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
get the ILL for Rise of the Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to go to the park not first thing in the morning, but whenever the first either Rise of the Resistance or Genie Plus starts. We'll go a little before that, and we will hit up Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway first. Then we will ride whichever ride we got, Slinky or Rise of the Resistance. And if it's Slinky, when we check in for that, for our second Genie Plus, we will choose Rock and Roller Coaster. And we will ride Slinky. And we will shop around a little bit, probably see the Frozen show. And then we will go over to Rock and Roller Coaster. And when we check into that one for our third, we will split. Butch and Aaliyah will get Star Tours, and McKinley and I will choose Tower of Terror. So we will split up, ride those rides, meet back at the Sci-Fi where we have dining reservations for a late lunch, and that includes the Fantasmic show. So we have the dining package for Fantasmic. We'll eat at Sci-Fi, and then we will go and meet Olaf and go and
Mm-hmm.
meet Minnie because, McKinley loves to meet the characters. And then we will have our late afternoon, probably around 5 o'clock treat at the Trolley Car Cafe. And that consists of
Carrot
Starbucks
cake cookie.
coffee and a carrot cake cookie. You're right, carrot cake cookie. And if they have it, the Butterfinger cupcake also, if it's available, and we split those and we share those, and that's kind of a given for us. And after we have our coffee and our treat, we will shop around. So we'll shop
Mm-hmm.
the stores there on Hollywood Boulevard. And that would be Mickey's of Hollywood. And then my favorite is the Celebrity 5 and 10. That's where I've bought so many journals, and I've happened upon other great things like my Walt Disney window.
Okay.
So that's great. And then we will go down to Sunset Boulevard and shop at the stores there, the Legends of Hollywood and Once Upon a Time, before going to the Beauty and the Beast show. And then we will chill out and watch people if we have time before we go to our VIP seating area at Fantasmic. So it's a
Yeah.
pretty quick day. We don't do everything there. We do our priority kinds of things there. So we've already done Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror and Rise, and I don't know when Rise came up, but at some point it came up. And we usually do Toy Story Mania, and I think I forgot to mention it, but we usually do Toy Story Mania either before or after our Slinky ride.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I found some great journals that trip.
Well, good stuff. I don't think Sophie and I ever even think about Phantasmic because
No, we don't,
it's
because we've
just
never done it.
yeah,
Yeah, I really
yeah.
like
So
it.
we really need to change that
Mm-hmm.
at some point. So this will be a navigating the park in the way we've done it, as well as navigating the park in the way we want to maybe in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So of late when we were there, it wasn't open, and and now that it's
Yeah.
back open, so that helps us. But
Yeah.
but Brenda and I and Sophie do agree in one small regard is before we leave the hotel, um, we are doing um, individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because Sophie and I did that, and we felt like that was the best. That was the best
Usage.
ILL usage that we got actually. Um, so we decided, we're going to buy that. So we bought it. When we did it in June, our time for return was like 6:45 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So so we had some time to wait. It
Yeah.
was much later in the day, but that gave us really the ability to really just take it easy. So what we did in June has worked into what I feel like was a really great navigating of Hollywood studios. We didn't go right at rope drop. Um, Although I think for what Sophie was talking about if you go to Toy Story and Galaxy's Edge first, then maybe that would lead itself to wanting to get there as early as possible so you can do some of the things like Smuggler's Run and Slinky Dog and so forth before it gets really busy. Just a thought. Um, so so we may consider about getting there earlier. But for this particular day, when we went in June, we were not there at rope drop, and we got there probably about 9 or 9:30 in the morning, so it wasn't super late. And we hadn't had anything to eat, so we went back towards Toy Story Land, and we found just a little, there's the Joffrey's Coffee Place, um, which is right over by Toy Story,
Mm-hmm.
and next to it was the place that was selling cinnamon rolls. And Sophie and I don't drink the coffee, so
Yeah.
we went next door and got the cinnamon rolls, and
And they were good.
they were delicious. They were because they keep them warm there, and
Mm-hmm.
they were just spot on. They were warm. They were they were so tasty. Oh my gosh, they were so good. So so that really and that was a surprise to us. We're hungry. Hey, they got cinnamon rolls, and we had no idea that they were going to taste as good as they did. And so it was just like winner winner right there. Um, so we did that, and we did some of the things in the Toy Story area. We went to Toy Story Mania. We we kind of just navigated around there a little bit. I don't think we ended up doing Slinky Dog Dash, just because
Yeah.
the lines are always seem to be so long for Slinky Dog.
They're
So
long for a lot of the rides back in that corner.
yeah,
Yeah.
but But Toy Story Mania is usually navigable. It's usually a shorter line than it used to be. So
Manageable.
it's manageable. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Um, and then after that, we one of the things that we had that day that I think is something you might want to consider because we had a lot of fun with it is Oga's Cantina. We had a reservation for Oga's and we'd never been there. So we were like, hey, let's see what we can do. And
Yeah.
our Oga's Cantina reservation was about 1 p.m. I think it was 1:10 or something like that. So we had some time there. Sophie was like, I want to ride Tower of Terror. So I didn't feel like riding Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? You go do Tower of Terror. I'm gonna chill here, and I'm
And
just
we
gonna.
found Uncle Butch.
And that's when we were like, hey, that's Butch and Brenda. And
You
so
never know
Butch
who you're
came
going to see
over.
at the park.
You never know who you're gonna see exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
Butch came over and we were chatting while Brenda went to the stores with the
Shopping.
girls.
Yep.
She went shopping,
And I
and
went on my ride, and you know what?
Sophie went on.
You know what? There were
What?
two girls there. They were from, I believe, either Brazil or Argentina. One of the two. I don't remember which,
Mhm.
but they were from somewhere in South America, and it was their first time riding Tower of Terror. And one of the girls, she was freaking out. And
Yeah.
so here I was with the other girl trying to, talk her down, say, hey, you're not going to get hurt. It's okay. And then this guy, this cast member, he's dressed as a bellhop. He was really in character. He was like, don't be afraid. We've not lost anyone yet on this ride today, but there's still time. It
That
was
helped.
so funny. And she
So
was she was scared laughing. She was like, "Oh my gosh, you're creeping me out." That poor girl. Thankfully, she got on the ride.
and she got
Loved
off.
it. Yeah.
Which usually happens.
Yep.
Mhm. So
So
all was well.
so the cast member sounds like maybe he had been assigned at Haunted Mansion at one point too.
Yep, he was the only one that was acting in character.
Wow. That's funny.
But it was funny, and we were all laughing, so it was all in good fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, they were some very nice girls. They looked, it's sad, they looked my age, but they were actually 17. I hate being old.
Oh,
Oh God, you're so
please.
old, Sophie.
Mm.
I know. It's such a shame. I mean, but if you look behind you, Mickey and Minnie are like in their 90s, so
Yeah, yeah.
and they still look pretty good for that age. So
To be fair, 2D always looks good.
anyway, continuing on, Sophie went on to ride Tower of Terror, and I
Hmm.
was people watching, and that's one of the best things to do at Hollywood Studios because you get so many different personalities, and it's just fun. It's just an enjoyable experience. You're just kind of chill, you're relaxing, you're just kind of taking it all in, and you're more than anything, you're enjoying being there in the moment at that time, you know,
Yeah,
regardless of what you're doing, you're there. So,
yeah.
so it's just neat. So, after Sophie did that, I think I'm going to say it was around that time when it was time to go back to
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge
Hmm.
for Oga's Cantina. And one tip about Oga's Cantina is that the seating is limited. Oga's is mainly a stand up, like you're at a bar
Yeah.
kind of thing where everyone stands, but they do have some limited seating. So if you need to sit, you can feel free to tell the cast members when you're checking in, hey, can I have a spot where I can sit? And
Hmm.
they will put that in the notes. You might have to wait a few minutes longer, but it's usually not bad. But then you will get a spot where you can sit and enjoy and all that and not have to worry about standing. So if you have mobility issues, that might be a thing to do. Um, that's what Sophie and I did, and we actually had a table that was really nice, and we were sharing it with another party, and it was just a lot of fun. So, but Oga's Cantina is one of those things where I feel like for Sophie and I at least, it's something we like to do maybe once or twice. Maybe we'll do it another time with mommy so she can
Mm-hmm.
experience it. But it's not something we need to do every time. So,
No, not every time.
but it's kind of like a specialty drinks and snacks kind of thing. So,
From
It's a
but
Batiste.
lounge. It's
yeah,
a
it's
lounge with mocktails.
yeah. But it's kind of neat. So
Hmm.
you kind of feel like you're immersed in that world, with everything in the all the ways to core.
Oh
So
yeah, Star Wars
Yeah.
is definitely an immersion world, and that's why it's
yeah,
so popular. You'll even
yeah,
see people there dressing up like they are from Batu, and it's cool.
yeah,
And these aren't just cast members; these are actual park
Guess. Yeah.
guests.
yeah,
Yes, and it's
yeah,
cool. And I want to do it sometime, but I don't have any of the clothes for it.
yeah. So,
I'll get
but it
there.
is neat, and that's another thing about it is the way that it it's so immersive. You'll see Kylo
Mhm.
Ren walking through the area,
Mhm.
and challenging people, and you'll see you'll see guests challenging
You'll s-
him, and basically, looking like fools sometimes.
Yeah.
you'll see stormtroopers telling you what precious cargo you have.
Yeah,
Yep.
He's mine. Don't touch him. He's mine.
yeah. So anyway, it's just neat. It's a neat immersive experience. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
Um, And, in addition to Rise of the Resistance, of course, there's Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. And we did that. And one of the things that was interesting is don't forget your cell phone, right, Sophie?
Yep.
Because I forgot my cell phone. And we were leaving, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my phone.
Oh
And so
yeah,
we had
we
to
were
turn
so
right back
scared.
around,
Oh
and we had
no.
to go back up, and they had found my phone, and it was in a lock, and they had it in their lost and found, and it was all good.
Yep.
Um,
All
but
good.
but don't forget your phone because it will add some unnecessary stress.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, one of the new things that it's not new, but it was new to us, is
Mhm.
I actually like Frozen sing along, and so I
Yes.
thought that was kind of fun.
I
You know,
definitely agree that the people who are running the show there, they definitely have fun with it.
yeah,
And so I like it from the comedy standpoint.
yeah,
Yes, for sure.
yeah. But it was a lot of fun, so we did that.
Mhm.
Um, and then let's see here. One Man's Dream, walking through there, like I
Yep.
said before, is still that is one of the highlights to me of Hollywood Studios because it's such history there.
Yes.
Yep.
Um, so to me, that's really worth it. That's worth taking the time to experience. And we had
Mhm.
at one point when we were there with my mom, Sophie went on to Slinky Dog Dash, and Cindy and my mom and I went into One Man's Dream, and we were looking at something, and a person was asking us questions about the style of how they do the film or whatever, and so it was kind of neat because she had never been to this, so it was really neat for her to see this guest to see how they made the cartoons and what styles they used and the techniques and everything like that. So it was really neat to see that and to help someone to get that appreciation. Um, but generally speaking, um, when it comes to Hollywood studios, it's kind of a laid back kind of day. When when it was time for us to do Rise of the Resistance, we went and we we tapped in with our magic bands for Rise of the Resistance, and literally we just bypassed the standby line and went right on, and it worked really well for us for that day. Um, in previous trips, one of the things that we did is we would We would sit by Grauman's Chinese Theater as it got dark because they would have projection shows on the theater. So that was kind of neat to see as well. So we've experienced that kind of setting at night with Hollywood Studios. This is when Fantasmic wasn't open, so that was kind of neat as well. But generally speaking, it is for us, one day is all we need for Hollywood Studios, like Sophie mentioned, and we just kind of take it easy. Like Brenda said, it's kind of a relaxing day. There's things we want to do, and those are the things we focus on. And that's really what it comes down to for all of us and for everyone that's going to a park. You want to make sure you focus on the things that you and your family want to do. That's really what matters, you know? So, and that's how you'll get the most out of your park day,
Yeah.
Yep, for
you
sure.
know? And in June, when Sophie and I left, that's when we park hopped. We took the boat. Did we take the boat, Sophie?
We might have. I'm
Probably
pretty
took it back to Yacht Club.
Well, in this
Uh,
case, we hopped over to Epcot.
yeah, so we
I
definitely
think we
took the
took the boat
boat.
to Hollywood Studios, but I think we were like, we're going to need to take the Skyliner. So we took the
Yeah.
Skyliner just for the change in scenery. So we
Yep.
took the Skyliner to Caribbean Beach and
Skyliner is
back to Epcot.
amazing.
Yeah.
The
Skyliner is
Skyliner
a
is,
ride in of itself.
yes, we love the Skyliner here. We are Skyliner stans here.
Yes. So we took the Skyliner, even though it was going way out of our way to get to Epcot, but we did
Hmm.
it anyway. And we went to Epcot because we needed to pick up the perfume for Nancy. So we had bought, Nancy's mom had asked us to go buy the perfume for her
Hmm.
daughter, Nancy. That's Sophie's Aunt Nancy. And so we did that. And so we made that trip to make sure we could do that. So that was nice to be able. That's one of the things that's really nice about Hollywood Studios and Epcot is the proximity. It's easy to get between the two parks
Yeah,
pretty quickly, you know.
yeah.
So,
Hmm.
all
All
right.
right.
So I think I've completed my day at Hollywood Studios. Did I miss anything out, Sophie?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Well then, that was our day.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here.
This day in
If
Disney
that,
history?
yep,
Yeah,
if
your
that
day in
finishes it,
Disney
then
history.
it's Sophie's turn for this day in Disney history for January 30th.
All right, then. Well, I am taking us all the way back to the ancient year of 1988 when my dad
Wow.
was 20 years old and my mom was slightly younger. we
She
don't
was
talk
10.
we don't talk about Cindy.
She was 10.
All right. Well, anyway. So, 1988, Walt Disney World's Epcot debuts Illuminations. The nightly show includes 13 special effects projectors, theme music, 12 wire mesh grids, 180 nozzles which create the fountains, and 783 fireworks pieces. Over the next 24 years, there will be 3 different versions of this show. And I have a quote, and it goes like this. It doesn't say who quoted it, though.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to World Showcase. Tonight we are pleased to present a visual journey, an international fantasy of music and light. We are about to embark on a sparkling, abstracted expedition around World Showcase. With the music as your passport, we'll discover sights and sounds from colorful ports of call. And to celebrate our journey, the countries will be united by the festive elements of water, fire, and light. And now, Let your imagination be your guide as Epcot Center proudly presents Illuminations. I believe that's the introduction to the show
Yeah,
that
for
they do
sure.
every night.
Yep.
And using most of the arrangements from the previous A New World Fantasy and Laserphonic Fantasy shows, Illuminations is a precursor to Illuminations Reflections of Earth.
Okay.
I loved that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Reflections of Earth, Illuminations Reflections of Earth was one of my favorites. And Harmonious replaced it for me as a favorite. So I will miss Harmonious. But we're not going to go sad. We're going to go on to our Stump the Soap. Bum, bum, bum.
You may try.
I will try. Let's see here. This character has a soft, lulling voice.
Bashful?
Nope. This character hypnotizes with his eyes.
Caw the python from the Jungle Book.
But you're right, of course. And third clue, did you know Ka was humorously clumsy?
I did know that.
Okay.
Very
If I
good,
had said that as a
Sophie.
second, would that have been harder?
It would have been, yes.
Would you have known it?
Maybe.
I think it would have taken the middle one to really get it.
Very
yeah.
good,
Hypnotized.
Sophie.
Yeah. So
Yep.
Sophie
Bump it up
wins
record.
3-1 now.
Very good.
Right?
All right.
1.
Yay.
I don't remember. I'll have to go back and look.
That's
I
our
believe
favorite
the one
part.
that I
Love
missed was
Sophie.
Prince Charming.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
weak.
gosh, that was horrible.
Mm. We don't talk about that one.
We
do
don't
not.
talk about Prince Charming.
We
God.
don't talk about Charming. We don't talk about Cindy. We don't talk about Bruno.
I love talking about Bruno.
Well, yes, we all love talking about Bruno, but Peppa said it. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about Sophie and what an amazing guesser she is on Who's Who character.
Aw,
Yes.
thank you.
Always, I've never seen somebody with such a talent.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yep.
And singing.
So now it's time for a little bit of Walt.
Little bit of Walt. One day, I learned that dreams exist to come true. And since that day, I do not sleep for rest. I sleep just to dream.
There you
Walt
go.
Disney,
Walt Disney, the man.
the man.
Yeah. Well, that's a great quote. That's a great quote.
Yes, sounds wonderful.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Well, folks, that wraps us up. Next week, we are concluding our series on navigating the parks, and I'm going to let you guess which park we're doing, and the first 3 guesses don't count. Unless you say Animal Kingdom is your first guess, because then you're right, because we're navigating the park of Animal Kingdom.
Oh, are you sure we're not doing Disney Springs?
I'm positive, because that's not a park. That's a shopping establishment. So, no, we are not. We're not doing Disney Springs because I don't really need to know if I should go to the Coca-Cola store first or to
World
the
of Disney.
Ghirardelli
Ooh.
chocolate place first. I don't know. I don't need to know that. I'll just do them both. So
You're right. Okay. All right. Animal Kingdom it is.
Animal Kingdom it is. So we hope you have enjoyed the show. We hope you have a great week. I'm Mike. She's Sophie. That's Brenda. And he's Grogu. And we will see you on the road. Bye.
Bye, everyone.